In a land where traditions bind and whispers condemn, one woman's journey would defy them all. Marnina was born into a world where a woman's worth was measured by men and her fate sealed by custom. 5 husbands, 5 shattered dreams, trapped in a cycle she never chose. But deep in her heart, a prophecy whispered of a man, the greatest well-digger in the world, the one who would lead her to highest joy. Then she stops, frozen at the sight of a lone man seated by the well. Marnina's eyes widen in shock. One conversation, one revelation would change everything. Her feet racing through the streets, Photini breathless, ecstatic. "Come, see a man who told me everything I ever did. Could this be the Messiah?" Marnina, the woman at the well, became Photini, the woman who would not be silenced. From rejection to redemption, from shame to glory, from outcast to evangelist, her story is not just hers, it is yours too.
Are you ready to take the journey?
What if a prophecy shaped the course of your life? What if a single moment at a well changed everything? Welcome to Behind the Scenes of the books. Marnina, the woman at the well, and Photini, the woman evangelist, with the author, Takunbo Emmanuel.
My fascination with the story of the woman at the well started after a question came to me in the mid-1990s. The question was, where was it stated in scripture that the Samaritan woman was a prostitute? And the following thought was, even if she was a prostitute, Yeshua made time for her. And this got me thinking about what could make a woman get married 5 times. And I concluded that perhaps there is more to this woman's story than the labels that people have placed on her. So Marnina's story took a couple of years to develop in my imagination. In 2006, a year before I started writing Marnina, I had published a book titled The Secret of Abraham. And this is where the well digger theme came from, actually. I already had in mind to write a trilogy about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob being well diggers. And it so turned out that Marnina's story became a climax to the well digger revelation. Exactly. The story developed around a mystery person that Marnina was meant to meet at the well of Jacob. And after a false start, she eventually met him and he turned her life around completely. So I wrote the book in a style that would keep readers in suspense. Who is this greatest well digger in the world? And that was the original title of the book in 2007. A few years after the first release, I changed the title to Marnina and placed the focus on her as the main character of the story. Oh no. I used to say for many years, I'm not a fiction writer, I cannot write fiction. But God challenged me to stop saying that and just write. And I'm so glad that I took on the challenge to write this story. Writing Marnina has been one of the greatest adventures of my scribal journey to date. The plot brought a lot of traditional themes to life, especially the struggles that women face living in a society laden with tradition and limiting customs. Well, Marnina's story, as told in the first book, ended with the biblical narrative of John chapter 4, her encounter with Yeshua and how her testimony impacted her town. Years later, a friend in church told me about the exploit that Marnina went on to do for God. that her name changed to Photini, that she died a martyr. He also signposted me to some historical documentation about the life of Photini. And the seed for a sequel to Marnina's story was sown in me after that conversation. I did some research, of course, but I also had to reimagine the background events that led to Photini getting baptized by the apostles and her missionary journeys. I also wanted to continue the historical theme of women marginalization and discrimination. So, with the help of assisted technology, I was able to weave the biblical account of the early days of the church with Photini's calling to the nations. Oh yeah, I want the books to inspire readers, both men and women, young and old alike. God will use anyone who is yielded to Him, including women. And I want the book to highlight the truth that women contributed significantly to the spread of the gospel and the growth of the church. Of course, I would also want the books to become bestsellers and one day to be turned into a film that everyone will watch around the world.
These are beautiful stories of transformation, redemption and purpose. I hope Marnina and Photini inspire readers just as much as they inspired you. Which biblical character's story has inspired you the most? Comment your thoughts. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe.